Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for March 28th, 2012. It is currently 8:30 a.m. and we have temperatures already rising into the upper 30s to upper 40s throughout the entire Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. And once again, like we've been experiencing much of this March, temperatures are already pretty close to what we expect to see for afternoon highs. So we're going to end up with another well above normal temperature day, with temperatures this afternoon rising into the mid 60s, lower to mid 60s along the immediate coast, and upper 60s to lower 70s for everyone else. That's right, the 70s are back, but unfortunately we're also going to be dealing with a few scattered showers and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm this afternoon with a warm front and then a cold front moving through. So let's take a look at the latest observations from the satellite. And here we are with the infrared satellite picture. And you can see our warm front approaching from the west. Is currently in central Pennsylvania. We do have a little bit of convection here with the cloud cover right around western Pennsylvania and western New York. And then we have our cold front moving through as well. So the warm front is going to move through first later on this afternoon, allowing temperatures to spike up into the 60s and 70s, with the threat of a few scattered showers, and then the cold front will move through with a few more scattered showers and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm this evening. I don't expect a complete washout here because the best lifting and dynamics, which is right around here, is with this upper level low, and that's all moving towards New England. And it's going to remain to the north of the New York City metropolitan area. But I can't rule out a shower completely, so many locations are going to remain dry this afternoon, but some locations are going to get a bit unlucky with a few scattered showers. But on the other side of the coin, at the very least, it's going to be warm. And that's pretty much going to be our pattern for the next 7 days. Back to normal, above normal. Normal, above normal. At no point do we end up below normal in temperatures. Actually, we remain relatively mild for this time of year, really, for this type of pattern. And believe me, we can end up with far worse of a weather pattern for late March and early April that we're heading into right now. So when we take a look at the radar here, you can see the bulk of the heaviest precipitation is focusing over the Mohawk River Valley in central New York, and it's clearly moving off to the east towards New England. Now here is where we're going to be dealing with some of our showers. There's a few isolated thunderstorms mixed into here, but for the most part, we're not really dealing with a widespread rain event. Now, I am going to keep an eye on this line right here for this afternoon and evening. It could intensify just a little bit with a little bit more instability in the atmosphere. But again, the best dynamics and lifting associated with this warm front and cold front will be focused more towards New England than it will for the northern mid-Atlantic. But it's still going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on. So for this evening, let's take a look at the latest model guidance using the European model guidance from the Penn State EWOL website. Now, I know a lot of people are using the GFS this morning. It's usually the most common model guidance to use on the news and whatnot. But I think the European model guidance is handling this weather pattern far better. It's a more consistent solution with the European model guidance, and the GFS has been a little bit more volatile. One day it has temperatures in the 70s this weekend, clear skies, then scattered showers, then back to clear skies again. The European model guidance has been more consistent, and I trust it a little bit more. So here we are for this evening. The cold front starts to move through with a few scattered showers. Notice at 700 and 850 millibars, we really don't have a lot of moisture. When I'm looking for a widespread rain event or widespread showers and thunderstorms, I want to see this dark green focused over the northern mid-Atlantic, and we really aren't seeing that. We're really seeing that more towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, the Mohawk River Valley, and New England. And the same thing can be said at 700 millibars. Meanwhile, we have a lot of dry air in place here. I think that's what's going to limit our potential for showers. Also notice we have the majority of our lifting more towards New England. By tomorrow, high pressure will be in control. High pressure will actually be in control into much of this upcoming weekend, with temperatures averaging near to slightly above normal, ranging from the mid-50s to mid-60s for highs. We're not really dealing with any major how do I put this, cold or warm air masses. They're pretty much bouncing right around near normal. And we know that because we don't really have any large ridges or deep troughs. And even if we did have a deep trough, the air mass over North America is, well, rather mild. I mean, we have a lot of influence from the Pacific, so even if you get a cold polar air mass like this one right here, well, it's being modified quite a bit. So we're not really dealing with the same apples to apples as someone would say. Let's say if this was a January type polar air mass, it's much milder and it's been modified significantly over the past couple of weeks. So even if you see this cold air drop south, it's not going to be as cold as some might suggest it would be if it was a few weeks earlier. For this upcoming weekend, again, we're going to keep an eye of a weak disturbance here late Saturday night through Sunday with a few scattered to widely scattered showers. I'm not really expecting a major rain event here. I mean, for the most part, we're dealing with a area of scattered showers with a very weak disturbance. I do like the potential for showers on Saturday night into Sunday. I just don't see this as a major rain event whatsoever. Just a couple of nuisance showers. And with the dry lower level in the atmosphere, the dry boundary layers, as the water table is very, very dry right now, well below normal for this time of year, that actually might limit showers as well, as we've been seeing so far this spring. As we move forward the rest of the weekend into early next week, high pressure will be in control, but we're going to keep an eye on another disturbance that could cause some problems by the middle of next week with a coastal low trying to develop. When we go further out into the forecast period, we're going to see a storm trying to develop. I think for right now that the majority of the lifting with this storm is going to be over the Atlantic. And at the worst, we're going to see something similar to what we saw with our last ocean storm that developed, with a few scattered showers and then windy conditions for the middle of next week as another polar air mass tries to develop. I wouldn't bet on this type of pattern right here for the middle of next week and the latter part of next week. You have a lot of disturbances moving through here, a lot of upper level lows, and when you get this type of pattern developing, well, usually you end up with a little bit more progressive pattern overall. So I wouldn't buy into this lock and step, but I would not be surprised if we see a nice ocean storm developing around the Canadian Maritimes. The northern mid-Atlantic, that's New York City and Philadelphia, ends up with temperatures next weekend near normal for the most part. We're talking about lower to mid 50s for highs. And we're going to keep an eye and see what happens with this storm over the plains in the Midwest and the Rockies area. The reason why is because if this lifts out a little bit further, this gets locked in over the southwest. That leads to a nice huge ridge over the east eventually. So we're going to see exactly how this locks in and if it becomes cut off from the main polar jet stream, or if it becomes a new type of deep trough over the west, which would result in a ridge in the east. Something to keep an eye on as we move forward. So that is your forecast discussion for today. Again, pretty much a very nice afternoon if you could dodge the showers, with temperatures in the 60s to lower 70s. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. You can always follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there.